Maybe it's an opening for you to take up the Juggalo mantle.
The Juggalo mantle? The Juggle mantle?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The Mantelo.
The Mantalo. Mantalo, who is a Superman villain. Yeah. He has a kryptonite heart. He's a cyborg. It's more Matalo, but not Mintalo, but here we are. Hi everybody, welcome to Smark Avengers. My name is Corey, and with me is Dylan and John. We're gonna start on that kind of a slow note. How's it going, guys?
Pretty good.
Dylan has taken a vow of silence. It's gonna be a very odd episode today. Which is gonna be unfortunate because he won't be on camera for a lot of it, because we're gonna be wrapping up something that has been almost like 9-10 episodes of work we put into this, and today's the day it comes to a head. We're gonna finally wrap up the Marvel vs. DC tournament, the official Smark Avengers Marvel vs. DC tournament, to crown the greatest comic book character in the two big publishers. That is what's at stake here, guys.
Yes.
I will say as a caveat, I don't think any of these four characters who are battling out today would be
The greatest
my
of all time.
favorite or the best or anything. Yeah.
I don't
No.
know. I don't know. I mean, they got far in the tournament. Now, of course, it was due to some shenanigans with the wheel, and maybe people being spiteful and forcing the wheel into play when it didn't need to be into play. I don't know. Hard to tell. Hard to tell. But yes.
Never know.
So for several weeks, we have painstakingly drafted a roster of characters that represented the big two in the heroes and villains divisions. We then randomly put them into first round matches, and then we had multiple episodes where we kind of went through a bracket and determined who was going to be the best of the best. And so, as a recap, representing the Marvel heroes, we have Scarlet Witch. Representing the Marvel villains, we have Apocalypse. Representing the DC heroes, we have John Constantine. And representing the DC villains, we have Parallax. So, I know you're asking, we only have 3 matches today. We have Scarlet Witch versus Apocalypse, John Constantine versus Parallax, and then the final. How are we going to make this episode last an hour?
Oh,
Yeah.
Corey,
Yes.
we've already got 3 matches on the show. How are we gonna make it last all the time?
That's an excellent question, Dylan. I'm so happy that you asked it. I have put together another PowerPoint presentation. And it's one I'm particularly proud of, because it took way longer than I cared to. Well, I've already admitted it to both of you. It took like 6 hours to put together, but here we are.
Mm-hmm.
So, are you guys ready to head over into what I have dubbed the tale of the tape, as we take a look at all 4 of our competitors?
Yes.
Excellent. The Marvel vs. DC finale, a Smark Avengers production, and along the left-hand side you can see our matches, as well as the third thing where the wheel fucked us. So as I said, this is going to be our tale of the tape. We have the Scarlet Witch, we have Apocalypse, we have John Constantine, we have Parallax. So without further ado, let's take a look at our first competitor, the Scarlet Witch, aka Wanda Maximoff. Wanda got here by defeating Gambit in the first round, Iron Man in the second round, Wolverine in the third round, and then Captain Marvel in the final round. She had a bit of a journey to get here. Any thoughts on how she got here?
Yeah, I actually forgot she won. I thought Rogue won, and then I'm like, okay, I guess I was just dreaming up something else.
I mean, we have name
Wishful
dropped her
thinking.
several times.
Yeah, but I don't watch the show. I don't pay attention. You know, was it my job to pay attention? I don't think so. That's literally all I have to say about it. John, have you anything to say?
I mean, I think there was a lot of upsets in the Marvel hero side of the bracket. Like our very first match was Captain America
versus
beating Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
So,
Now,
like,
I will point
there's a
out,
lot of
by the way,
stuff going on there.
I will point out, by the way, the reason Spider-Man was defeated by Captain America is because John was the only person who said that Spider-Man shouldn't win that, and we took it to the wheel
Yes.
because of that reason. So, John, I
Yes.
don't want to hear you lament that hard.
I mean, there needed to be a bit of chaos
It was the
involved in
first
everything.
match.
There's a lot of chaos involved. That's why the Scarlet Witch won.
Exactly, that's what I was just about to say.
Yeah, so you can't get too upset about all of this. I mean, we
It
are
all
all
worked out.
collectively upset about this.
I mean, here's the thing. When it comes down to it, I have the template of the slideshow I was using came with these nice little slider bars. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll modify them. So, I gave Scarlet Witch on the rankings that I thought were the most important, which are sanity, her sexual attraction to androids, and having cool tiaras. Which, as you can see, she has quite a few of them.
I'm surprised
Mhm.
her sanity is that stable.
I mean, it could be better. That's for sure. She's not
Right, it's not middle of the road, but
Yeah.
also I feel like she
She's-
erased all the mutants from history, so like maybe she'd be a little closer to bad shit. Also, she went crazy and killed loads of the Avengers, so
Yeah.
that doesn't
Well,
normally happen to
so
people.
so Dylan, I'm happy you brought that up because it's not just this slide. I decided that it would be best for us to, before we really dive into who should win, we talk about some of their big moments that showed off their resourcefulness, their power, their greatest victories, or maybe in Wanda's case, not so much greatest victories, but I mean, fuck, she pulled off something with the very first one, which is House of M. She pulled off something that several mutant hating groups had failed to do many times. So, of course, I'm referring to, as Dylan mentioned, No More Mutants from House of M. In the 2005 House of M #7 storyline, distraught Scarlet Witch reverses her fabricated reality by whispering no more mutants, stripping 90% of the mutant population of their powers. The event, known as Decimation or M-Day, reduced the global mutant population to fewer than 200. So think of all of the X-Men villains that are not like for mutant supremacy. So we're talking about the Friends of Humanity, we're talking about like the Sentinels and Bolivar Trask. All of these groups have been trying to do what she pulled off in 3 words. Pretty impressive.
Yeah. So really, she's the
Mhm.
bad guy if you think about it. She shouldn't have been on the hero side at all, and we should redo the hero bracket, and Spider-Man should win, and Gambit should also win.
They'll win by holding hands.
Yeah, that's fine.
But as you mentioned also previously, another big moment for the Scarlet Witch, Avenger Killer. In Avengers Disassembled, the story begins with a series of sudden escalating tragedies at Avengers Mansion that result in the deaths of Ant-Man, the Vision, and Hawkeye. Doctor Strange arrives and reveals the source of the reality warping attacks is Wanda. Her breakdown is triggered by a suppressed memory of her lost children whom she had magically created, but who were actually fragments of the demon Mephisto's soul. Wanda blamed her teammates for their part in her losing them and for hiding the truth from her. So yeah, not only did she, kill off, Ant-Man, the Vision, and Hawkeye, she also publicly humiliated Iron Man by making it look like he lost his sobriety in front of the United Nations. So I mean, like I said, she's.
I would also say that a lot of other Avengers villains have failed to kill the Avengers, and once again, Scarlet Witch was able to do something that they've spent years and years and years trying to do. Again, is she really just the biggest villain of all time? Have we been wasting our time here?
Mm,
Starting
Well,
to
maybe
add up, isn't it?
maybe we should try and get to some like more heroic deeds that
Yeah,
she's
some
done.
good news. Yeah.
Well,
What else did she do?
I'm glad you mentioned that because up next we have imprisoning. The pronunciation I'm going to say is Chuthan. Is it Chuthan?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah. So this is from the Darkhold Omega series. Chuthan is a demonic elder god and one of the most powerful dark entities in the Marvel universe. He's the original author of the Darkhold, a book of infinite dark magic knowledge, and is known as the God of Chaos. Chothan's ultimate goal was to use Wanda as a mortal vessel to return to Earth. By marking her as an infant, he ensured she would eventually have the power necessary to anchor his full presence in the physical world. She ended up defeating Chothan by absorbing the Darkhold, which is essentially his soul and power, into herself. And by doing so, she became the true Darkhold and effectively changed Chothan within the darkest depths of her own soul, ending his eons-long influence over her. So again, she didn't do those things because she was batshit crazy. She did all that stuff because she'd been secretly possessed by a demonic god for her entire life.
So not only does she have like unlimited like cosmic power, but she also has the power of this crazy ass demon inside her.
Yes.
Okay, we should be a little concerned about this.
Mm,
I mean, I would say this
You
is
know?
a pretty heroic deed for her. You know, this demonic overlord can't return to Earth because now he's stuck inside of her.
Right, but no, he's inside of her, and she can return to Earth.
Oh yeah, but that's okay because up next we have our final feat of power and of excellence, I will say, of doing stuff that no one else is capable of doing. Becoming the Sorcerer Supreme. So this is a bit of a title upgrade for her. So unlike most who hold the title of Sorcerer Supreme, Wanda was not originally appointed by the Vishanti, the magical trio that oversees the Sorcerer Supreme title. Instead, she claimed the title by saving the Eye of Agamotto and the Cloak of Levitation from destruction after the previous holder of the title, Doctor Doom, was defeated. The Vishanti, however, are not pleased with this and view Wanda as a rogue Sorcerer Supreme. So again, she marches to the beat of her own drummer. She's like, listen, this stuff was going to get destroyed thanks to Doctor Doom fucking up, and I saved it, and because I saved it, I'm going to protect it and kind of claim it for myself. So the Vishanti, like, have her, she kind of has like a assembly, a cabinet of people she consults as the Sorcerer Supreme in Marvel now, and it includes Clea Strange, it includes Chothan, who actually, like, she speaks to a degree, and other very powerful magic users. So she's giving herself some accountability. She's giving herself, you know, a support system to lean into as this rogue Sorcerer Supreme now. So again, pretty impressive feat. There have been a few Sorcerer Supremes, but none of them have just outright said, no, I'm just going to do it. I'm not going to wait for these 3 magic gods to decide that I'm ready to be Sorcerer Supreme. I'm just going to take it.
Right, exactly. I don't want to keep harping on this. I feel like this also makes her seem a little bit like a bag. She just took the title of Sword. It's me now. It belongs to me. And you said one of the people that she talks to that holds her accountable is the fucking weird demon that lives inside her.
Well,
You know,
I mean, the demon created chaos magic. You know, if you're going to use magic,
starting
you
to
have to go
get
to the
some real
experts.
mixed feelings about this Scarlet Witch. I gotta be honest with you. Maybe we should go back and make it Spider-Man.
Well, unfortunately,
mm.
we do not have the time to do that. We have already invested a
We
lot of
could.
time and effort into this whole tournament, and now we have to live with the
Mm,
wheel and John's foolish decisions to push it forward.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John.
It's all my fault.
Well, so Scarlet Witch, like I said, she represents the Marvel Heroes division. Representing the Villains division, we have Apocalypse in Saba Nur. So Apocalypse got here by defeating the Taskmaster in the first round, Thanos in the second round, the Green Goblin in the third round, and Magneto in the final round. So, what were your thoughts on Apocalypse in his journey to get here?
John, what did you think about Apocalypse beating the Green Goblin and Magneto?
I think it's bullshit, man.
Yeah?
There's no way he could have survived one of those pumpkin bombs.
I mean, Spider-Man has. Oh,
Spider-Man's better than Apocalypse, though, so that makes sense.
ah, Spider-Man didn't win his thing.
No, exactly.
Oh,
There's a lot of ins and outs to all of this.
yeah, it's very nuanced. It's very complicated. Yeah. I mean, beating Thanos is something
Yep.
pretty
I
good.
can't believe we had him beat Magneto.
Of course, you
Did
can't
that come
believe
down to the wheel?
That was absolutely, it did come down to the wheel. That was not a unanimous decision. I can tell you the only unanimous decision I think we reached here was him beating Taskmaster in the first round.
I feel like that's probably legit, right?
I think that's fair.
Yeah. Or Taskmaster. It's hard to beat somebody up when you don't know what it is they do.
I mean, look at his ranking in normal lip color.
Okay, I meant more of his clarity of powers bar, but sure, of the lip color.
Yeah,
I don't think, Corey, you shouldn't judge people based on the color of their lips.
I think you can.
Mm, That's gonna get us in trouble.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Anyway, so would you like to see some of Apocalypse's big feats? And not his big
Yes.
feat. That's the Idris Elba podcast.
Okay.
All right. So up first, we have Ascending to Power. This came in the X-Men: The Rise of Apocalypse miniseries. Born in Aqaba, Egypt, thousands of years ago, Apocalypse as a baby is cast out due to a strange appearance. He was born with gray skin and blue lips, obviously. He's rescued by a nomadic tribe that teaches him to survive in the harsh world. At the time, Egypt is ruled by Pharaoh Ramatut, as we all would know, is one of the past versions of Kang the Conqueror, who has Apocalypse's tribe killed in an attempt to stop him from growing into the threat he would eventually become. Thus, instead, or I put this, I don't know why, instead led to Apocalypse swearing vengeance that eventually led him to discovering the celestial technology that allowed him to alter his body.
Did that celestial technology come from Kang, or did Kang just not realize that shit was there?
I think it was one of those things that you can't really fuck with the past too much because things are inevitable, are going to happen one way or another.
Right.
And it was definitely a younger Kang that was trying to stop Apocalypse.
Is that a lion?
There's
on the left-hand side?
There's a lot in this late 90s X-Men art to look at. I mean, just look at the state of Kang's head. It's all pinched in.
Yeah, I mean, I was just gonna gloss over that hat completely.
Yeah. I
Best.
actually own this book. It's pretty good.
I thought you were gonna say you own that hat.
Oh,
He's
I
wearing it
wish.
right now.
Mhm.
That's John's podcast hat. He wears it all the time.
Is it a good book?
Yeah, yeah. As like a kind of origin story for Apocalypse, I really enjoyed it.
Okay. Very interesting. I'll put that down on the list.
Okay. Well, next up, we have his arrival and Archangel. This is from the storyline Fall of the Mutants. So after the loss of his wings, Warren Worthington III attempts to commit suicide by exploding his private jet, but was teleported away by Apocalypse at the last second. Apocalypse subjects Warren to genetic alterations, turning his skin blue and crafting razor-sharp techno-organic metal wings to his back. Warren is then rechristened Death, the leader of the Four Horsemen. A brainwashed Warren ruthlessly attacks his former X-Factor teammates, even though Warren eventually breaks out of Apocalypse's control. Angel's time as Death has haunted him for years. So, I love Apocalypse in this art. I mean, look at it. Look at his smile. He's so happy.
Look what I did.
Look what I did.
Yeah.
I ruined this perfectly good white boy.
Yeah.
and yeah, so like you said, that's another example of Apocalypse and his ability to physically alter and change himself and other people, which is kind of a thing for him as a result of that, kind of the mastery of the celestial technology. So let's head to his third big feat here, which is the 12 and merging with Cyclops. Apocalypse orchestrates a massive long-term plan to abduct 12 legendary mutants intending to use their combined power to transform himself into a deity-like entity. He uses a brainwashed Wolverine to capture the 12, but during the ritual, Magneto, whose powers are weakened at the time, proves to be the weak link, causing the celestial machine to malfunction. As Apocalypse begins to his essence transfer into Nate Gray, Cyclops pushes Nate out of the way, and Apocalypse Spirit merges with Cyclops instead. So another example of his feat of genetically changing and altering people to suit his needs. Sometimes himself, sometimes people he, kind of just needs for whatever reason.
Yep.
And then finally, we have Becoming Annihilation. So this is from the X of Swords event. So thousands of years ago, Apocalypse's wife Genesis and their children stayed behind in the demonic realm of Amenth to hold back an infinite horde. When his family finally returns, they have become corrupted by Annihilation, a demonic entity. Apocalypse organizes the tournament in Otherworld not just to save Krakoa, but to reunite with his lost family. The tournament culminates in a duel between Apocalypse and Genesis. Despite defeating her, he refuses to kill her, and instead he takes the golden mask of Annihilation from her. Due to his strength and power, he's able to ward off Annihilation's influence and leaves Krakoa to rejoin his family. Again, Apocalypse is sort of synonymous with survival of the fittest, and that means altering yourself to evolve, essentially, which is kind of like his big mutant power. I remember when we were kind of talking about Apocalypse in the tournament in his first round matchup, we're like, his powers are really vague. He seems to be able to kind of just do whatever they need him to do. But like the recurring theme is just fucking with your basic anatomy and making you into whatever he needs you to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's sort of our look at Apocalypse. So we're going to head over across the aisle, so to speak, to DC Comics as we look at the Hellblazer, John Constantine. So Constantine got here by defeating Swamp Thing in the first round, Martian Manhunter in the second round, Zatanna in the third round, and then Power Girl in the final of the DC Heroes bracket. Constantine is also an odd choice for hero if you think about it as well. He's very morally gray. He does a lot of fucked up shit to accomplish what he needs to get done. And that's kind of what he does. And as you can see from his stats of fucking a shark, lung cancer, and cool guy extraordinaire. Because, he's cynical as hell. I mean, look at him. He's smoking, and everybody knows that makes you cooler.
I mean, you can smoke and drink milk.
You can smoke and fuck a shark.
Which it clearly he does.
He absolutely did.
Maybe not at the same time.
That's like a coward's way out, John. Come on now.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's get into the many feats of John Constantine. Curing his own cancer. So this came from the storyline Dangerous Habits. John is dying of terminal lung cancer, and his soul was promised to the first of the Fallen, the most powerful of the three Lords of Hell, in a previous encounter. Knowing the first of the Fallen was looking forward to torturing him, John secretly sold his soul to the second, and then again to the third of the Fallen. So when John died, all three rulers of Hell showed up to claim their prize. The first of the Fallen realized that if he took John's soul, the other two would go to war with him, potentially causing a massive disruption in Hell and allowing Heaven to win. To prevent this war, the Triumvirate was forced to heal John's cancer and cure him, saving his life and leaving the first of the Fallen furious, but unable to take him.
Be clever.
That's going to be the theme.
Does that mean he can't die?
No, it means that he's going to have to live until they can figure out a way to get out of that deal.
Okay.
So there is you're familiar with Batman Beyond, right?
Yes.
There is a
Vaguely,
storyline in one of the Batman Beyond comics that is a elderly John Constantine, still alive, still, doing what he does best, morally gray, fucked up shit. And speaking of fucked up shit, breaking an angel. This is the storyline from Fear and Loathing. So after John tricked the first of the Fallen into helping him cure his cancer, he knew the devil wouldn't just give up. So John knew that the first would come for him eventually, and to prepare for that inevitability, John manipulated the fall of the Archangel Gabriel. John set it up so that Gabriel would unknowingly fall in love with the succubus Ellie and sleep with her. By losing his virginity to a demon, the Archangel Gabriel was cast out of heaven. Now a fallen angel whose heart was in John's possession, Gabriel had no choice but to fight for John in hell. And as if that wasn't bad enough, Constantine also fucked up his wings with a chainsaw just for fun. Because he also had to cut open Gabriel's chest to get his heart.
Wow, it's the easiest way to get into it.
Yeah.
I feel like clearly John Constantine is not the only person on this list who has broken an angel. So
There you go.
Yeah. And also, he doesn't seem like he's that good of a hero as well.
we really fucked up with the heroes, didn't we?
A little bit.
Yeah.
That's okay. We're going to go into John's third feat, which is stealing his own innocence. This is from a storyline called Ascent that was a miniseries tie-in between Hellblazer and the Books of Magic. But as a young child, John performed a consciously or unconsciously magical act by sealing away his childhood innocence, vulnerability, and wonder into a box, burying it to rid himself of it as he viewed it as a weakness. So stripping himself of that special part of his youth sent him down his path to the supernatural. Years later, young magician Tim Hunter found it and offered it back to Constantine, and in the process, the pair were attacked by a demon looking to capture it for himself. After defeating the demon, Constantine declined Tim's offer to allow himself to keep his edge, despite that loss being what inevitably was responsible for a lifetime of pain, trauma, and loss.
I see.
Yeah, so like I said, John had the ability to basically go, I see that being a good person's going to keep me from doing the shit I need to do. So let's nip that in the bud. By the way,
I don't know if I agree with any.
there was another one that I was tempted to put on here, but I think that would skew him too far away from being a hero, in that he had an abusive dad, and so he tied his
Mhm.
dad's soul to a dead cat, so that his father was incapable of feeling emotions or any sort of joy or anything, just to fuck with him. So yeah, John's spiteful as hell.
Yeah, maybe we did fuck up the heroes in
I
this.
think we made a huge mistake.
We have made a lot of issues here.
All right, and our fourth one, poisoning a demon. This is from a storyline
Okay.
called "A Drop of the Hard Stuff." John's friend made a deal with the devil to have the magic he needed to make some of the best wine and alcohol using holy water. The spell is active as long as some candles are lit up around him. According to the deal, the devil has up to midnight to collect his soul after he dies, or his soul goes to heaven. John tricked the devil into drinking the wine, then turned off the candles, turning the wine back into holy water while it was in the devil's throat, leading to the devil experiencing excruciating pain before John smashed the whole bottle over his face and severely injuring him with holy water. And then I believe he kicked his body into a bathtub full of the stuff as well. He really went to town on that devil.
I feel like the devil should have years of experience of not being tricked by people and is falling for a lot of really silly tricks here.
It's kind of like that's kind of we talked about John Constantine. We talked about how magic is like his deal. He's probably one of the greatest occult minds in DC Comics. His real skill is being manipulative and being a dick. Like that, if being a cunt is a superpower, that's John Constantine's power. So,
Fair enough.
last but not least, we have our member of the villains bracket, the Parallax. So Parallax got here by defeating Darkseid in the first round, Starro in the second round, Deathstroke in the third round, and Doomsday in the final round. Arguably, he had the hardest road to get here out of everyone else. And of course, his stats are liver problems because he's yellow, concern over a can of raid because he is a very large space bug, and he's got a lot of codependency problems.
Understandable.
Understandable.
Mm-hmm.
So Parallax's big feats, of course, the perfect host. This is from the storyline Emerald Twilight. After Coast City is destroyed by Cyborg, Superman, and Mongol, Hal Jordan is emotionally broken, making him susceptible to the entity representing fear. Believing that he could restore Coast City if he had more power, Hal traveled to Oa, the Green Lantern homeworld, and entered the central power battery. The entity, which had been the source of the yellow impurity inside the rings, merged with him while he was in the battery. Parallax magnified Hal Jordan's rage and fear, turning him into a villain who destroyed the Green Lantern Corps and battled the Guardians. So essentially, he destroyed the entire Green Lantern Corps by himself under Parallax's possession and influence. Now,
That's pretty good.
I will say this is going to be a bit of an asterisk, essentially, in that all of these feats that Parallax has had, or at least this one in particular, and the second one, these are retcons. At the time, DC Comics were like, no, Hal Jordan's just a villain now. He did this on his own accord. He's a bad guy. He suffered some loss and it broke him. Jeff Johns, who was a big Hal Jordan fanboy when he got the pen, so to speak, at DC, one of his things that he was looking forward to was undoing that, and so Parallax was created.
Okay.
So the second of our Parallax big feats is attempting to reset time in the storyline 0 Hour. So still feeding off of and amplifying Hal Jordan's fear and anger, Parallax attempted to reboot time by erasing the existing universe and replacing it with one of his own making. He uses his vast power to destroy the timeline in an effort to undo the destruction of Coast City and his own subsequent murderous actions. Parallax's goal was not just to fix the past, but to completely replace it to alleviate his guilt. The heroes of Earth stop Parallax before his vision is fully realized, and the hero Damage initiates a new Big Bang, resulting in a rebooted universe with some subtle differences. So he partially succeeded in resetting time.
Which is a
I was gonna
logical.
say,
Yeah.
if it was just attempting to reset time, that's not really an accomplishment.
It's a
No.
partial
Like I
success.
can attempt to, Yeah,
No,
I don't know.
no,
He
just
brought so
because
what he
anybody
did.
can attempt it.
Yes, but he brought the Justice Society from the 1940s into the present day. He also,
Right.
I believe, brought back Supergirl, or like the weird angel that became Supergirl. Like there were some accomplishments there.
That's what we're saying. Like
It's a
attempting it and like
50%.
having a partial success, two different things.
Yeah, it's a partial
You know?
success.
Yeah. So that we're saying is fine. Just saying if he attempted to do it, you're like that's anybody can attempt to do murder. That's not the same.
All right. So here is the first accomplishment that is purely a Parallax accomplishment, not a retcon. And that is a new host. This came during the Sinestro Corps War. So after Hal Jordan is resurrected, the Parallax entity is removed from his body and spirit, but it wouldn't wait long to find a new host. Kyle Rayner, the Green Lantern who replaced Hal Jordan and restored the Green Lantern Corps, discovered a yellow ring that transported him to Quard, where Sinestro and the Sinestro Corps ambushed him. Sinestro uses the fear and guilt Kyle felt regarding his mother's death and the recent murder of his Green Lantern friend Jack T. Chance to make him susceptible to the entity. Parallax is forced into Kyle, and the entity possesses him to continue his war against the Green Lanterns and the galaxy. So, got a brand new host.
Sure does like those Green Lanterns.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's personal for him because they're the ones who trapped him.
Mm-hmm.
All
Makes
right.
sense.
And here is our final
Sure.
accomplishment of Parallax: possessing Superman.
Oh.
Ooh.
This came from the storyline A Minute Longer. The fear entity Parallax possessed Superman by exploiting his compassion and forcing him to surrender to protect endangered children. After Parallax, the embodiment of yellow fear, traps and terrorizes children in an abandoned school, Superman confronts the entity but is overwhelmed. To stop the torture of the children, Superman willfully consented to allowing Parallax to inhabit his body. While Parallax believes it has secured a new powerful host, Superman manages to trick the entity, however, as he takes a yellow power ring that belonged to Sinestro and instead of being controlled by it, uses his immense willpower to force Parallax into the ring itself. So it's a loss, but not many people can say they've possessed Superman.
Yeah, like 3 people tops, right?
Yeah, around that amount, I imagine. So that is going to be our accomplishments for our villains. Now, you've noticed they all have a bit of a trend. Scarlet Witch, a lot of her accomplishments involved basically questionable judgment that has, seen her do something impossible. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
with Apocalypse, it's all about genetically modifying himself or others in order to pursue his survival of the fittest motif. For John Constantine, it's all about manipulation and tricking people into doing things that, he needs them to do. And for Parallax, it's all about manipulating people who are at their lowest in order to take what he needs the most, which is a body. So those are our 4 things, our 4 big things in common with our 4 big heroes and villains. Let's go ahead and hop out of here and get into the actual matches. All right, guys, we're back at our very familiar site, which is, of course, our Smark Avengers DC versus Marvel bracket, which is almost completely filled now. We have looked at all of our 4 big characters, we've seen the tail of the tape, and now we have to get into the matches to crown a winner. So, first up, on the Marvel side, we have the Scarlet Witch versus Apocalypse. Knowing what we know about both characters now, seeing what their big accomplishments and feats have been over the last decades and decades worth of material, how do you feel like the matchup between the Scarlet Witch and Apocalypse will go?
I mean, if we're talking about like pure power, I'd say Scarlet Witch has probably got the edge. Like she was pretty powerful to begin with, you know, killing Avengers and wiping out like 99% of mutants. And now she's got like the living Darkhold in her, and she's claimed the Sorcerer Supreme title as well. Like I would say that probably bumps her up, uh, to a level that Apocalypse can't really compete against.
I will counterpoint that.
Okay.
I will counterpoint that by
Mhm.
saying that as of now, in the Krakoa era, even if it's post Krakoa, Apocalypse has the annihilation entity inside of him. He has his own demon inside of him now as well. And this is all
They
about
both have demons.
Yeah, exactly. And these are both characters that are, Apocalypse is all about rising to that challenge and forcing himself to evolve and adapt in order to continue to stay on top of the heap, essentially.
I
Right.
believe Apocalypse used a bit of magic in the Krakoan Age as well. But I don't think you could say he's like as big of a master of magic as the Scarlet Witch is.
I will say that Scarlet Witch tried to get rid of all the mutants, and she wasn't able to get rid of Apocalypse.
Was she trying to get rid of Apocalypse though?
She was trying to get rid of all the mutants. She didn't get rid of Apocalypse.
I don't know why some mutants like didn't lose their powers and like the rest did though. Like,
Yes, very ill-defined.
yeah.
I'm just saying he was technically able to survive whatever it is she did. Plus he can make his fist turn into a hammer.
The gun.
Yeah. Have we ever thought about that?
A big pinchy claw.
Yeah. What if he turns Scarlet Witch into like blue-skinned angel demon thing? He's
I think
done it
you'd have
before.
to catch her first though.
The
Like,
big net.
it's a bit of a difference, like capturing Angel, who's just a guy with wings, and then Scarlet Witch, who's this souped up, super powerful
Well,
sorceress.
one thing I will say about that is that he was very smartly able to capture Angel at his lowest whenever Angel was about to commit suicide and the Apocalypse rescued him. One thing we know about the Scarlet Witch is that her mental capabilities can be questionable at best, and she has had many different periods of depression and instability that could be easily manipulated by a character like Apocalypse, who has in the past shown very capable of manipulating such characteristics. Yeah.
Maybe.
Hmm? That's what I'm thinking, you know? Plus, he's seen all sorts of weird shit, you know? I feel like he would know how to adapt to that kind of stuff.
Mm,
I mean,
Yeah, he's been
he's
alive
been a-
for thousands of years as well. He's got an
yeah,
experience edge, to say the least, in that regard. I mean, and he's
yeah,
I
somebody
he's
mean,
been
he
a-
has slept through most of it though.
he swore vengeance
well,
against fucking Kang though as well.
He still
yeah.
hasn't got it.
Still hasn't gotten it.
Well, it's hard to catch him. He's all over the place.
His giant sword with his multiple
Yeah.
scarlet.
I would say
Centurion
that's
sons.
like a check against him. The fact he swore vengeance against Kang 2,000 years ago and then still hasn't, seen it through.
He's been busy with the mutants.
He's
The
reconnecting
mutants
with
only
his
really
wife and
came
kids.
around in the last 150 years or so. So
And he was asleep for most of that. So you can see.
Yeah, he's reconnecting
You
with his
know.
wife and kids currently.
Yeah. Which is sweet, isn't it? It's a nice thing. I feel like the way this is going is that me and John have different opinions, and Corey is the third person in this. He's been very silent.
I've not been silent. I've been contributing. Thank you. I will
Alright.
say this, that my initial instinct was to side with Apocalypse at first.
Okay.
Just based off of how long he's been around and the very fact of the matter is the guy is just obsessed with the idea of getting bigger and better frequently. But I
Mhm.
do think that when you combine the fact that Scarlet Witch has the Darkhold inside of her now, with the fact she's the Sorcerer Supreme, and that she has basically a council, all of these other various powerful magic figures like Clea Strange, it is a pretty she's outgunning Apocalypse in that regard when it comes to scale and power. Apocalypse's powers are very
I don't think.
undefined at times, but I think that
Right.
she could overwhelm him. I think it's whether or not are you getting Scarlet Witch at a dark period of her life, or are you getting her now where she's like probably in her prime as a character.
Well, I would put it to you like this, in that Apocalypse is very very resilient, and he's not afraid to take his time over things. Like you said, all he has to do is wait until the Scarlet Witch is in a bad period. He can do that easily. I would also say that at the moment, Scarlet Witch has all this shit going for her. She won't always have that. We know the way comics work. At some point, she will no longer be the Sorcerer Supreme. She will no longer have all this other crap. She'll still have her chaos magic, whatever, but the Sorcerer Supreme thing won't last forever. But Apocalypse will still be Apocalypse. He'll still have that ill-defined, can do whatever he wants, technically, kind of power to him. I feel like the long game gives it to Apocalypse. We all know I'm all about that long game. I don't know what that means, but
Like that
I'm gonna
long
say it
game.
anyway.
You like that long
Doesn't.
game.
I like it pretty long, yeah.
All right,
I would say.
so John, what are your thoughts in total? Dylan given his argument, I've given mine. What is yours?
Yeah, I'm sticking with my original thoughts. Like, I think Apocalypse obviously is very powerful, and Dylan brings up a lot of good points, but I think in terms of just like power versus power, Scarlet Witch has got this one. Like her hex abilities combined with her like reality warping, and then the power to just do whatever she wants, really, with all this magic stuff on top of it as well. Like, as powerful as Apocalypse is, he ain't that powerful. So in my mind, there's only one winner here.
Okay.
I would like to add 2 more points,
What are your points?
if I may. Number 1, Apocalypse has his children. So,
Wanda has her children.
But
Billy Kaplan and Tommy Kaplan are still around. Is it Kaplan? I don't remember those kids' names.
Are they her kids?
I mean, are they?
Yes,
Are they?
I believe so.
Oh. Well, she doesn't see him anymore.
Well, one of them's
The
in
other
space.
point is, while she could go to space if she wanted to, the other point is, as we covered, Scarlet Witch might not be the best good person, but Apocalypse is a pretty fucking good bad person. You think about a villain, Apocalypse is bang up there, but which would make it appropriate for him to win that side of it because he's very good at what he does. Whereas the Scarlet Witch seems to be pretty questionable when it comes to being a good person, as we've covered quite frequently.
Well,
Which I think works in her favor, though, doesn't it? Because it just
Does it?
means that when Apocalypse fights dirty, then she's got no aversion to doing the exact same back at him.
I would say Scarlet Witch was responsible for that weird bit where all of the heroes became villains and the villains became heroes. And that was garbage. So I don't want her to win because of that.
all right. Well, it sounds like we're gonna take it to the wheel, which
We knew we were gonna take it to the fucking wheel.
yeah, it
Always take it to the wheel.
it certainly is. But hey, Weird Face Kid's here with us again.
Lucky us. So is it
There he is.
one? Is it 1 for Apocalypse and 2 for Scarlet Witch?
It's 2 for Scarlet Witch and 1 for Apocalypse. So Dylan, if it lands on you, then Apocalypse makes it to the final.
Mm-hmm.
And Dylan, you've had a lot of luck with the wheel over the last 4 episodes that we've done this.
Not really. Gambit is not on this list.
No, but you single-handedly pushed Power Girl to the finals on the DC side.
That
She
w-
fell in the final.
that was
but
fun.
she made it pretty damn far. And you also saw
Did
that
the best
Joker. You also saw that the Joker didn't get out of the first round
Well, he shouldn't have.
against Mr. Freeze. He should have.
Mm,
Like I said, that whole first round worked out that Joker could at least have gotten to the second round before he was completely overpowered.
it's better this way. Trust me.
Okay. Well, are you ready to spin the wheel to see who becomes the ultimate Marvel character?
I suppose so.
Yeah.
All right, we spin it.
Look at his head go.
And it looks like the Scarlet Witch is going to come out ahead as she makes it to the final round to represent Marvel Comics.
Hope you're all very proud of yourselves.
So that brings us to our next matchup, which is John Constantine versus the Parallax. I am going to tell you, I am of the opinion that this is a one-sided fight.
Mm-hmm.
Parallax possesses people who are at their lowest point. John Constantine has never been at his lowest point. At every available opportunity where it seems like he's at the worst he could be, the fucker manages to come out ahead. Gets lung cancer? Don't worry. I'll just manipulate these devils into me getting what I want anyway, which is cured of cancer and still fucking alive. Oh, the devil's gonna come after me in hell? That's fine. I'll just manipulate an angel into fucking a demon, and that way I can take his heart, and I'll be fine. There is no level that seems like John Constantine feels fucking despair and depression. The guy's always fucking moving. And I think a lot of it has to do with getting rid of his childhood innocence at a young age. So I think that Parallax would be sitting around waiting for him to, like, dovetail into, like, loss and sorrow and regret, and I don't think it's going to happen. There are a couple other moments in the John Constantine research I was doing where I was like, okay, yeah, no, John is a bit of a cunt. Case there's a storyline where he has a friend who they're encountering these sort of demonic entities in the internet, essentially, and his friend uses a spell to put his spirit into the internet or his computer or whatever, because this was written in the early 90s where we didn't really know how computers and internet worked yet, apparently. And his body gets destroyed as a result of it. And he's like communicating to John going, hey, what's going on? Why can't I get back? And John just very coldly unplugs the computer and traps his friend inside of it forever. The guy's an asshole, simply put. It's like, oh no, my friend, he's dead. Not fuck it. Don't need to worry about this anymore. I do not think that Parallax could ever find him at a low point, is what I'm saying.
Okay, I think whenever you say this is really one-sided,
yes,
that was not the one side that I thought you were going to go with.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
what are your thoughts, Dylan?
I mean, you make a lot of good points. It's hard to say. I feel like Parallax as an entity is so powerful, and such a good character that I would have found it hard to bet against him here. So I would have automatically said Parallax. But I didn't expect your knowledge of John Constantine to be so thorough, you know? So I don't really know. What does John think?
I think Corey's swayed me a little bit with his reasoning, but John Constantine, because, you know, not only does he not have that, like, fear and despair that Parallax likes to prey on, but he is kind of, a moral character as well, who's willing to do whatever it takes to win, basically. So I don't know, like, because we've had Constantine come up with against guys where they've been sort of weak against magic, I want to say. Is Parallax, like, does he have any weakness towards magic, like, the Kryptonians do?
Well, so here's the thing. If we're going to go with that argument, then yes. Just based off the fact that the reason Superman is susceptible to magic on Earth is because he's not naturally of Earth. The Parallax is not naturally of Earth. It is a cosmic entity that is basically the living embodiment of an emotion, which in this case is fear. Just so you know, all of the other Lantern Corps have these entities as well. Like the Green Lanterns, their entity is called Ion, and it's a giant green whale, essentially. So they all have these sort of living embodiments. So Parallax is one of a series. And And because he's not naturally of Earth, you have to assume that the same rule applies.
Well, in that case, I mean, surely there's only one winner in this one.
Parallax. I feel like if your whole gimmick is you feed on like fear and all that kind of crap, all that stuff, you would have and if you lived for centuries, for eons, and you've traveled through space and time and fucking galaxies, you would know how to draw that out of somebody. Just because all the people that John Constantine has come up against hasn't inspired or instilled fear into him, doesn't mean that he's immune to fear. He can still feel it. And if he does feel it, and this is the first time he does, then he's fucked.
But I mean, you're talking about a guy who regularly encounters Lucifer. I mean, the first of the fallen is Lucifer. Like, the biggest bad of all big bads. And John, like,
We
fucks with
we say that all the time. And like in comics, the devil is not the biggest bad. It's just not. It's just not. I don't think that that's. I'm not accepting that. So, do with that what you will.
So it's doing with that what I will sounds like going to the wheel is what I will do.
Well, I guess we're gonna have to spin that wheel again
We're
then.
gonna spin the wheel once more.
Spin that bloody wheel.
All right. All right, so same rules apply. If it lands on Dylan, then Parallax will push past John Constantine to represent the DC heroes and villains. Oh, it's gonna be close. Oh, it's so close, Dylan. Well done.
Oh my god.
Well, that does that then. So, Parallax will push past Constantine to represent the DC villains and heroes. So now we have our final match. Representing Marvel Comics, we have the Scarlet Witch. Representing DC Comics, we have Parallax. So I will say, once more, probably not the way anyone who did a Marvel vs. DC tournament would probably have this go.
Why not? Why not?
Oh, wow. So, yeah. That's, like I said, here's the thing. You know what I just said about John Constantine and his advantage over Parallax being that, like, there is no low point for Constantine to dwell or fall into? Ain't gonna happen with Scarlet Witch, because that's pretty much... I've established in her greatest hits 2 moments where she was at her lowest and did something fucked up. Parallax would just be sitting on the sidelines with his dick in his hand going, guess she don't need me. She's capable of fucking up everything by her own damn self.
Does Parallax have a dick?
That's an interesting point. I don't know what the anatomy of a space bug that is the embodiment of fear would be.
This is something we need to look into.
All right. Well, you look up
I mean,
pictures of Parallax's
maybe not that
penis.
hard.
I think we need to look into this, okay? It's imperative that all three of us do a lot of extensive research into this space bug penis.
So yeah, to steer us back on course, everything I just said about John Constantine, exact opposite with Scarlet Witch. As we pointed out in her fight against Apocalypse, it ain't always going to be sunny days for her. John Constantine's a miserable son of a bitch, but it's a misery he has chosen for himself. He knows that there is no happy endings in the future for him. Scarlet Witch is not that way. She's very clearly a character who has hope and has, a dream of a perfect life for herself one day that is not forever in debt to destruction, pain, and chaos. And I think that's all Parallax would really need. I think that if you had them face off with each other, I think she'd give it a valiant effort. But I think that Parallax could manipulate her, and then all of a sudden you got a new host that is the living embodiment of fear, plus the Darkhold, plus the Sorcerer Supreme, all in one.
Right, like imagine how powerful Parallax would be if he took over Scarlet Witch. Like he would have infinite possibilities.
I guess. But, like, I don't know. I think Scarlet Witch has sort of hit rock bottom before, so there's nothing that Parallax could kind of do to kind of, you know, take her lower than that, really.
But that's
She's
he doesn't have to. All he has to do is take advantage of her in one of her low states, and then he's in. He takes her over.
I think, yeah, but he's come out of those like moments of despair stronger for it. So I think she's kind of almost like the perfect opponent to go up against the living embodiment of fear and anxiety and stuff, because she's had to face that pretty much her whole life, and she's she's lost some battles, but then she's won a lot of them as well, to be in the position that she's in today, where she is like uh, recognized as a heroic person and is carrying the title of Sorcerer Supreme and stuff. Like, she's taken the worst that life's thrown at her, and it's not put her down for the count, you know?
Well, I would argue the worst life is to throw at her is being taken over by a massive space bug. May or may not have a penis. So, you know what I mean? I was with Corey on this. Whenever it seemed like it was going to be Scarlet Witch versus Parallax, I'm like, well, because Scarlet Witch has had such an issue with like mental instability, and the thing about that is like that's that's a tough thing to try to unshake. I feel like whenever people have kind of mental health issues, it's always there somewhere. You always have it. You can improve, you can get better, but like it doesn't really properly go away. And I think all it takes is one small step for something to just go wrong for Scarlet Witch, and Parallax is in there, and that's it.
I do think another thing that goes in her favor is she did spend her entire life up until the point where she absorbed Chothan, being essentially marked by him and being under his influence. A lot of those moments that we're talking about, like Avengers Disassembled and House of M, are kind of retconned into being like, that's because that was Chothan's influence over her. That was the chaos that was basically inside of her coming out. So she's a character with some experience at handling that, is what we're saying as well. So it's possible Parallax could get in, but could he stay in?
That's
Doesn't
exactly
matter.
what I was thinking.
I feel like if he gets in, that's the game's over. That's the end of the match.
I don't know. He got into
don't think
Superman,
so.
and Superman was able to force him out, force him into a ring, and trap
Exactly.
him.
Are you saying that Superman and Scarlet Witch are the same people?
I'm saying Scarlet Witch could force him into one of her jazzy tiaras, and then there you go.
Well, also,
I don't think that's possible.
And if we're gonna play with the same rules that we did with the Constantine fight, then we have to also assume that because Parallax is not naturally of Earth, he may have a weakness to magic. But see, that's
we don't know that.
we get a little weird when we have DC magic versus Marvel magic. DC magic has that rule established.
We don't know that. Like we can't debate a thing that we don't know.
We can assume something, though, based on precedent.
Oh yeah, what if he gets water on him and he turns into a gremlin? We don't know if that happens. It probably does.
Is that a precedent in the DC comics?
It's the precedent of some kind of media that I've seen.
All right. Well, Dylan, is it? Well, I guess what it comes down to, Dylan is on the side of the Parallax. John's on the side of the Scarlet Witch. I feel like I'd give Scarlet Witch a puncher's chance. Even if she got possessed, I think she could still pull it out. I mean, Sorcerer Supreme
like
on top of the Darkhold.
This whole tournament feels like me versus John and Corey.
Yeah, and you and the wheel versus John and Corey. Let's put that out there too, sir. Like I said,
right.
2-1 odds, and you still keep winning. I'm just gonna say you need to start putting money on shit at this point.
My partner in this is not a regular member of the podcast. Who also
at
isn't
this point,
real.
At this point, the wheels is just as part of the podcast as we are.
I didn't vote for that. I don't want to have to draw 4 people in the thumbnails.
You
now.
gotta put the wheel in every thumbnail now. Even
I-
when the wheel's not present, he's still there.
Where's Wheelie? I didn't sign up for this.
All right. Well, it sounds like we need to come up with it. We need to settle it once and for all. This is it. This is the big one. Scarlet Witch versus Parallax. If the wheel lands on me or John, then Scarlet Witch wins and is thus the ultimate comic book character of all time. And if the wheel lands on Dylan, then it is the Parallax. I just want to point out again, look how close that was.
That's crazy.
Look how close that was. All right, here we go, guys. You beautiful weird face.
Am I
kid.
fired if it lands on me?
Are you fired if it lands on you? That's
Well,
fine.
I'm safe.
It looks like Dylan is safe as it lands on John for our audio listeners, meaning that the Scarlet Witch has advanced to become the ultimate Marvel vs. DC character. It's official. It's in the bracket. Our winner, Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch.
Boom.
All right, guys. That's that. That's been settled. The Scarlet Witch is the ultimate Marvel and DC comic book character of all time. Somewhere Steve Orlando is celebrating because it means that all of those miniseries he's been writing for the last 5-6 years have added up to something. What are your final thoughts on what this process has been like, what the tournament's been like, etc.?
Well, that's what I was going to say. My question for both of you is this. Are we happy with how this turned out? Really, are we happy with how this turned out?
Not at all.
Yeah, I will say this. So the wheel was my idea of adding to this because for me, the wheel was about like getting that real tournament feeling because there's always going to be upsets in a tournament. The problem was I didn't consider how many upsets there could be in a tournament. And it feels like there are a lot of
wall-to-wall upsets. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very few legitimate walk-ins. It was mainly like all upsets constantly.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, after coming to that conclusion, I'm like, okay, I don't want to say that we wasted our time. I don't think that's the correct way to phrase it.
No, I don't think we wasted our time.
No, I don't think it was a waste of time. It was a
You wasted
questionable
everyone
use of
else's
our
time.
It was what?
We wasted everyone else's time listening to this.
and in that respect, it was a perfect Smark Avengers show.
It really was in that sense, yeah. Like, I feel like any other comic book podcast, there would have been like a serious conversation with serious debates and all facts and figures and whatnot. And for us, we introduced just enough chaos to completely fuck the whole thing up.
Yes. Chaos.
Very on brand.
Yep.
And it makes sense if it's all chaos that the Scarlet Witch wins. We were playing right into her fucking hand the whole time.
Yep.
So in a way, it's very appropriate.
It is.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, yeah, I would agree with that in that I feel like, in a way, it couldn't have been any different. You know, we really, we made it a real Smark Avengers podcast. Nobody else would have done this. We did. We fucking nailed it in our own weird way. So, in a very strange way, I'm very happy with what we were able to accomplish because we're literally the only people that could ever have come up with this solution. So, yeah.
How long has this taken as well? Like, it feels like 5 months or something.
it has.
Is it
We have
that
been,
long?
We have been doing this for a good bit. Like I said, I believe there are 9. I want to say 9 episodes of the show has been dedicated to this tournament. Because if you think of it, we had the episodes where we were coming up with the participants.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had the episode where we were putting the. Hold on. Actually, let me. I can tell you how many episodes there have been. Oh boy. All right. Are we going all the way into our archive at this point? We started this episode. Let's see.
It's that far back.
So this was volume 4, episode 32. So this is before we started renumbering. And that episode came out on October 3rd. So
Which means we probably recorded it in September sometime.
Early September, late August probably. So yeah, that was
Now it's February.
Now it's when this comes out, it's gonna be March.
That's true.
So we had that episode where we had one episode where we just picked the Marvel heroes. We had an episode where we picked the Marvel villains, an episode where we picked the DC heroes, an episode where we picked the DC villains. We then did our bracketology episode, which is episode 101, so that's episode 5. And then we did hero bracket, villain bracket, DC hero villain, DC villain bracket, so that's 9. This is episode 10. We did 10 episodes dedicated to this.
We did 10 episodes, and this is what we came up with.
Yep, we did 10 episodes. Oh, no. I can tell you, I am a different person today than I was when I did episode 1. Okay. Let's have another question here. If we were to do this again, would you change anything that happened? Would you have been more respectful of going to the wheel? Would you have completely removed the wheel and just gone with majority vote?
I think all of us would have put Spider-Man ahead of Captain America.
Oh geez, John, this is how it started. This is how it started.
I think we started off on the wrong foot, and we just kept walking around with different shoes on and thought, we'll just style it out and no one will notice. Everybody noticed. Everybody noticed. They were yelling at us, like, you got your feet on backwards. I'm like, no, this is fine. If we just keep going, no one will notice. And I feel like it's like right off the bat, we fucked it up. So I would say maybe less up fucking. That's my criticism, I would say.
I don't know. I like the up fucking. I think the element of chaos to everything made it, unpredictable, which is not a bad thing. I think maybe we could like streamline things and just jump straight into a tournament rather than trying to pick who's in it. Like maybe we could do that bit off camera and then jump into the tournament and then just do like bring it down to 5 episodes rather than 10.
If there is a day where like I kind of would like to just do this like in a day where I knew that I had nothing to do. I would actually like to watch all 10 of those episodes or listen to all 10 of those episodes in sequential order to like see if there's a point where it broke. Like what point is like the point where you go, that's where it fucked up. And I know I know the easy answer is to say by introducing the wheel as a concept to this. But I feel like, I don't know. I just remember there was a lot of interesting debate because there's a part of me that was like, I don't even know if I want to put Parallax up for vote in this, because I mean, like we were talking about like no big like we didn't put Galactus in the Marvel side. Like that felt like it was too big. Like was Parallax in that same vote? Would Parallax been too big?
I think if you went back and looked at all of it, one of the big parts we fucked up on was not putting Sonic the Hedgehog in.
I knew you were gonna say it.
And wasn't I proven correct? Yes, I was.
I knew you were gonna say it.
In hindsight, wasn't I correct?
Oh well.
Yeah. See, I'm not hearing anybody to say that it wasn't correct. Wouldn't have changed things if Sonic the Hedgehog was in it. Yes, it would have.
Well, in the future, we will take that in consideration if we were ever to revisit the idea of doing a Marvel versus DC bracket. In case it maybe
Yeah.
becomes an annual thing that we do every March or whatever this episode comes out. Who knows?
Okay.
Anyway, John, from what I understand, you had time to watch a movie today. If you accomplished that, what is your movie total at for the year?
I actually had time to watch 3 movies today, but
3 movies.
my total is now at 179
I will tell you,
for the
John,
year, not for the day.
I don't watch 3 movies in a month.
I don't know if I've
You
ever
know,
watched movies.
what?
Space
You guys are
Jam.
missing out.
You know. What were the 3 movies?
So I watched an Irish drama called God's Creatures, which had Emily Watson and Paul Mescal in, which was
Mm-hmm.
pretty decent. Then I
Very Irish
watched
actors.
a movie called Boxcar Bertha, which was actually Martin Scorsese's like second ever movie that he directed. Not that you could really tell from the movie itself, because it was produced by Roger Corman and it had more of his hallmarks than it did
God bless Corman.
Scorsese's. And then the last movie I watched was the 1990 Handmaid's Tale with
Hmm.
Robert Duvall in,
Rest in peace.
which, yeah, again, it wasn't great, like, especially now when you can compare it to like the TV series that came out, that adaptation of The Handmaid's Tale. But it was fine.
So, John, where can they go to hear your thoughts and your ratings for those movies?
They can head to Letterboxd and find me at Big John Bowski, all one word.
And Dylan, what have you been up to lately?
A lot of sleeping.
That's good.
Oh, it's been so good. I was really sick last week. So I didn't get any sleep. And then the last couple of days, oh, the sleeps I've had have been so nice. You know, I really enjoyed that, man. I feel like I could just go to sleep forever. I would like that a lot. But unfortunately, I have to wake up every so often, stuff like this, you know. But when I'm not doing stuff like this or sleeping, I do a radio show every Monday night on bouncedigitalradio.co.uk, 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock UK time. You can do the time conversions yourself if you wish. I play a lot of rock music and stuff. It's really good. I stream sometimes on Twitch at Spooky LaRue, and where I draw pictures and then I animate those pictures and put them up on YouTube and TikTok at Team Crows NI with a hyphen in it somewhere. And that's it.
All right. Well, I've got my other show, Large Little Cup, and I also have our kind of our spin-off show that's also posted on this channel, New Number Ones, where I go to my comic book store every week and I grab a new issue number 1 for a series I have not heard of from a smaller publisher. I'm doing my best to avoid like the bigger names, like DC or Marvel. But yep, you can see the link to Large Little Cup in the description here, and for new number ones, just subscribe to the YouTube channel and you'll get them as I put them out. Until then, though,
Easy.
we'll see you guys later. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.
That was the Scarlet Witch.
Yep.
Yep.